Hello. Today is October 2nd, 2022. I'm here to give you some breaking news. You may or may not have heard it. Uh, so I'll start right off. Uh, News from Florida for the cleanup. Uh, our friends, neighbors, and citizens are still suffering. Uh, Governor DeSantis actually went out on Sunday and helped out by distributing food and water to the residents in some hard hit areas. Biden stated that the hurricane could be the deadliest in Florida history. There was, at the time of his comments, there were 2.5 million people without power. Fort Myers is devastated with no power, no water, no electricity. Unfortunately, it's unlivable. A lot of people are suffering. In one town, uh, for some reason, the internet was acting screwy on me at the time I was looking at it. There were hundreds of homes literally destroyed. Uh, a lot of people reporting saving lives from getting people to a place uh, getting to a point where they can get water, food, and dry clothing. Even though it's warm, if you're out there in the water for a long time, your body can actually get hypothermia. So it's important that they get into a dry place with clean, dry clothing. If anyone can help, it's greatly appreciated. And when I also send a thank you to the first responders, and thank you for your service to the people of the state of Florida and elsewhere. And I also want to thank you for your service to the troops that are working hard, whether it's the National Guard or the folks that may have been activated. I came across an interesting article. Florida is considering banning kratom. Kratom is both a stimulant and depressant. Uh, it's also considered a opiate uh, additive. The truth about drugs. Uh, this you can find online, which I found it. The website, if you can see it, drugfreeworld.org. Phenomenal place. Uh, they've helped a lot of people. I use this to help people who are having a rough time and they need some help. But kratom, beware of it. It's also like a additive like fentanyl. There's a couple other drugs that you want to be aware of. Well, fentanyl and the carfentanil. Everyone's heard of those. But there's another one. The acronym is ISO, uh, which is 100 times more powerful than fentanyl. It was actually developed in the 50s, so basically almost 70 years ago. But it was too powerful. It was killing people right in the test, uh, and right to the brainstem where you don't have control over your automatic muscles, respiration, that kind of stuff, digestion. So it killed people. So it was never allowed to come to market. But the company patented it, And for someone that wants to do some research on the patent records, you can find all kinds of things. Japan, United States, and Australia, they're going to strengthen the defense ties based upon the China threat. Europe was investigating on past Tuesday what Germany and Denmark said were attacks which caused major leaks into the Baltic Sea from two Russian pipelines at the center of an energy standoff. German Economy Minister Robert Habeck told business leaders that the leaks were due to targeted attacks on the infrastructure, and Berlin now knew for sure that they were not caused by natural occurrences or material fatigue. So the metals and the other materials they use, rubbers, plastics, they didn't decay or anything. It was a purposeful attack. Chuck Todd and Simone Saunders Townsend excused Biden's Jackie Gap on Meet the Press. They said, we've all done it. I don't ever recall asking for a dead person, but I guess we're all entitled to one gap. Police news, real quick. A Florida teenager is dead. 2 others were injured after crashing a stolen Maserati. Police in the county where the car was stolen from stated that they do not chase people who a stolen car or something. Routine car chases, they don't do it. It's policy. So, and it was like less than 2 miles from where they stole the car. They lost control of it. The European sports cars are different than American sports cars. Well, American sports cars are good too, but the steering and everything else, you start going 100 miles an hour, 110, and if you've never driven one at 110, 120 miles an hour, it's actually an incredible machine. Maserati, Lamborghini, all of them. Then you go to the German ones, they're equally as awesome. BMW, Mercedes. Anyways, thoughts go out to the person that died, anyways. 15 years old. It's too bad. Over in Detroit, police fatally shot a man who was armed with a knife. We're going to go a little bit of medical news. Blood supply is dangerously low in Washington State and Oregon. If anyone is in that area, they can go out and donate some blood. Greatly appreciated. NFL legend Terry Bradshaw reveals a cancer diagnosis. And I mentioned Alzheimer's the other day, but they're now thinking that it's an autoimmune disease. And it might be the result of the body's immune system mistakenly attacking its own brain. And what about opioids? I mentioned that a few minutes ago. Uh, Opiates and all those drugs dangerous. Some states have Suboxone. If you go to the hospital, uh, they'll give you a 3 day supply of Suboxone, and they'll give you hook up to a person that can continue to prescribe it and also um, get you medical help. Not only medical help, but counseling. Uh, some states they've just started. Uh, they come and they come they get an overdose call. Someone's overdosed and they basically are dead, and they use Narcan to revive the person. The person comes back. They are now given Suboxone on the spot after the person's revived. Uh, they're not waiting for the person to uh, go to the doctors, whatever, because that most of the time is not going to help. Even after they go to the doctors, opiate addiction is a powerful addiction, and a lot of people are suffering from it. So if you can get them the combination of Suboxone, Subutex, methadone, Vivitrol, whatever the medication it is to help them get off the drug, and to hook them up with a counselor. Uh, but there's a shortage of counselors, so they got to do something. Anyways, science. We now know the 200 most used passwords, and hacking them comes pretty easy. SpaceX crew, 5 astronauts arrived at the launch site on October 5th liftoff. Super Earths are more common and more habitable than Earth itself. Astronomers are finding more of the billions of planets that are out there. If that's the case, I'm not a conspiracy nut, but if that's the case, there's billions of them out there, that would lead you to believe that there's probably other life forms out there on those planets. Now, if we're the result of the Big Bang, and we follow the theory of evolution that is suggested by Charles Darwin, uh, then all these planets must have some type of life form on them. Whether it's intelligent or not, we don't know. We go to the world news. Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso's ousted coup leader, Lieutenant Paul Henry Sandaogo Doumbia, left the country for Togo Sunday, 2 days after he himself was overthrown in a coup. Well, the new junta urged citizens not to loot and not to vandalize. Uh, Back to the Nord Stream pipelines, I mentioned a few minutes ago, they've stopped leaking. The Danish Energy Agency states uh, China said common prosperity drives morphs into common poverty. Interesting. Erdogan, the president from Turkey, stated that 1 million Syrian refugees will return to their country in a few months. They will be given safe transport and also ensure that they return to an area that is safe. that they're not going to be subject to immediate harm. Uh, the environment, Germany, and the EU have been handed a declaration of war. Interesting. The economy, housing prices are down. Some areas are down 20-30%. You're seeing prices start to come down. That's going to continue. And some people are buried in, they bought these houses. It's like someone that buys a fancy car, all right? And they suddenly realize, well, wait a minute, how could I lose $10,000? I just bought it yesterday. Some of the houses, people lost $100,000. They bought it yesterday. And a lot of people, like they say, some car payments, a lot of car payments are over $1,000 a month. That's a lot of money per car. And now housing, you got some of these mortgages are $3,000-4,000 a month. Hopefully, people that bought them didn't buy adjustable rate mortgages. That's definitely going to be a foreclosure, unfortunately. The crypto market is down. That's up and down, but it's probably going to be more down. Just a little side note. If you're going to invest in like a subprime credit company, you can carefully select one that properly vet the borrower, and you could see returns in some cases of 20 and 30%, depending on what state you're in. Most of the time, these people don't just have a $50,000, $100,000 loan or $400,000 loan without some type of asset that's backing it, like a house or a car, and they're paying a lot of interest rate based upon their credit history. So potentially there's a huge return there for the shrewd investor. Depending on the area and the economic environment that the people are in, if they have a good job, they're typically not going to just let their car go bye-bye or their house. Unless, of course, they get divorced or something like that, and things go crazy, and people, unfortunately, have life happens to everyone, but some people they suffer needlessly. But assuming everything's going good, they pay their bills, especially a car. In some areas, they don't want their car to go by the wayside, and they'll not eat food and not pay utilities. They want their car because it's a extension of who they are, their personality. And I just throw that out there. All of us, I think, are that way with our car. We like it. We're proud we have it, and get to show it to everyone. We're excited to have it. Hopefully, up in the northeast, it's starting to get cold. I think we're gonna be suffering. Everyone this winter, you either buy natural gas. Some areas they want to jack the prices up 30%. Price of heating oil. In some areas, going to be over $5 a gallon for oil. I know some that heat with oil, and last year they were paying $250 to $300 a month. This year, they're slated to be paying just over $800 a month for heating oil. And they don't even use the whole house. They have a big house and they don't use it. But you have to heat it so you don't start having the ceiling and stuff start collapsing, because you need to heat it, old house with the horsehair plaster. So plumbing doesn't freeze. And horsehair plaster will start to just collapse. I don't know if you've seen pictures of them, but they can decay rapidly. Anyways, I don't want to bore you with that. I hope everyone's safe. Messages, if you like it, if you think I should mention something else. I got busy today and I apologize for that. I have access to all kinds of information, and where I work with interesting people, and I help a lot of people, which I enjoy doing. Excuse me. But if you have questions, comments, you can hit a like at the bottom. You can send email comments, and I will respond. I thank you very much.